Coming up with designs that feel like they live within the original trilogy, but you haven't seen them before, is really, really, really hard. We were all sort of living in the shadow of Ralph McQuarrie, who designed the original films. He came up with so many great things.
We were both very passionate about keeping as Ralph McQuarrie as possible. I mean, I grew up with Ralph McQuarrie, so did Garrett. And basically, Ralph became the foundation for all of our design work.
We had a lot of amazing things to pull up and look at and say, oh, wow, this is something that is really going to enrich what we're doing. And it's from George and Ralph McQuarrie and other designers that worked on the original films. And to be able to take those and update them or realize them, I think was a very, very special part of this process that I think will keep us connected to the original movies in a way that we couldn't possibly do without that sort of reference to work from.
The Star Wars design by Ralph is so meaningful because Ralph created shapes that became Star Wars, things like domes and circles. The Empire is, black and grays and with accents of red. All their forms are geometric shapes, hard angles. And the Rebels were all about earth tones, compound shapes, complex shapes. And when you do that, you're basically creating a very distinct visual palette.
So this is the final frame from A New Hope with a matte painting on the top. So what we're trying to emulate with our set is that long, narrow slot. So we're going to go inside the same hangar and we're going to replicate part of the exterior, which they never did back in 1976, but we're going to build a physical set outside there.
We've had a lot of wiggle room regarding legacy sets. How can we make those legacy sets feel the same, but we had that chance to just go on and push really hard, and we need to be able to feel that we can watch Rogue One and Episode 4 back to back and feel like they're from the same period.
Being mindful and respectful to what was originally designed in 1976 for the original Star Wars, and part of that was paying homage to the graphic designer John Whitney, which is those kind of classic spirographic visual imagery.
Background, go to work, team.
Obviously, in an ideal world, every set we would build would be 360 degrees. You can shoot on probably 90% of it, but I think if we're clever in our shooting, you can shoot in most directions.
This film was something that allowed us to push everything to its limits. The technology, the story, the costumes, the production design, everything was pushed. And when you have that opportunity, why wouldn't you take that?
Gareth likes to use this kind of like, I want the raw emotion to come through. I don't want to over-practice this and feel like I'm a rehearsed, somebody's just delivering me a rehearsed line. I want to kind of feel that, like, you trip, I catch it on camera. You stumble your line, I catch it on camera. He wants to feel like you're really in it.
I think that he has really great instincts about how to sort of, make this feel like Star Wars, but at the same time be bold and sort of take a fresh visual approach to it in a lot of respects, and certainly in the terms of the cinematography and the sort of visceral feeling of it, the immersiveness of it.
I'm drawing up the occupied city, which is where a big battle sequence takes place. We had to think about what it would have looked like originally. Then we had to add, you know, a few hundred years of aging, because we're saying it's quite an ancient city. And then this more recent layer of destruction. Stormtroopers on my set.
Ready, and action!
Hey, you just watch yourself.
Wait, no. Sorry. We don't want any trouble, sorry. Come on.
When you actually go back and you look at the films, all the actual things that were built, or the designs, they're not quite as good as you remember them. A good example is like there's a little grill on the side of a stormtrooper that's got these blue notches in. On the original trilogy, that's a sticker, and it can peel off. And when you get close, it looks like a sticker. And so on ours, we made them actually a grill that's got like a proper embossed gap in it.
So you can watch it on an HD kind of, you know, an HD world, and it's nice, everything's sharper.
For the beginning of the film, he wanted everyone to be genuinely scared. He wanted something to come up with something more menacing.
Gareth saw some paintings of Ralph McQuarrie where he stylized the stormtroopers and made them very tall and very elegant. And we thought, okay, well, this could become our SEAL Team 6 version of the stormtroopers. I love those challenges where you're trying to create something new, but then it has to fit within the universe of Star Wars. So we just took a stormtrooper, thinned it up, painted it black to see if it would work. And it was actually really cool.
There's an incredibly difficult fine line that you have to navigate the entire way of making the film, which is, if you go a little bit to the left, it's not Star Wars. If you go a little bit to the right, you're just copying Star Wars and not doing anything new. And to try and find this new ground was really tricky.
Let's go!
Star Wars needs to feel epic. On this film, we shot in 4 countries. We have 7 sound stages, 2 backlots, 3 enormous UK locations. When anyone sees this film, it's a huge film. It's a huge, beautifully rich film.
You just want everything to feel like it fitted in. It wasn't just another movie.